Hey everybody, welcome to the first video of 2021. My name is LaTwan. I am the owner, principal writer, and trainer for Akati Grant Writing Services. This week we're going to be talking about transparency and why transparency is important for your organization and what you can do to be more transparent in your nonprofit. I'm not going to get too much into introductions about who I am and what we do at Akati Grant Writing Services, but if you are new to Akati Grant Writing Services and you don't know much about what we do, who we are, there is a link in the description box where you can check out our introductory video, or you can check out our website and just other resources to learn more about what we do. But I want to keep this video short and to the point, so we're going to go ahead and jump in with the content for this video. As I said, this week's topic is all about transparency and how being more transparent can help your nonprofit get more grants and be more recognized and noticed by potential grant makers. So let's go ahead and get started with two major reasons why being transparent is really important. Now, there are very likely more than two reasons why being transparent is important, but in this video, we're just going to speak about two. So the first reason why being transparent is important for your nonprofit is because it helps you identify yourself and it helps you tell your story. So anytime you're asking for a grant, the grant maker is going to want to know who you are. They're going to want to know, how did you start? What do you do? What have you been able to accomplish so far? And just a little bit about who your leadership is, who started the program, who's currently working in the nonprofit or, spending their time implementing the program, and the expertise of the program managers or, the founder, whoever it is that is responsible for the program. So being transparent helps you, brand yourself, tell your story, and allow the general public as well as specific grant makers understand who you are. And that is how they will be able to determine if you are matched for their grant funds. Every grant maker will be looking for a nonprofit that is ultimately caring about the same mission and the same cause that they care about. So when you do your grant application, of course, you're going to tell your story on the grant proposal, but being transparent in other ways outside of just the grant application, supplements the information you do put in the grant applications. The second reason why transparency is very important is because it builds a sense of trust and it helps you build relationships. So not only does it allow you to tell your story, but it puts you in a position to where you're basically saying, we have nothing to hide. You're being transparent about, where you started, where you're going, what you're doing, your mission, your goals, what you've been able to accomplish so far. And you're also putting yourself in a position to be transparent about the financial status or financial, position of your organization. If you're asking for people to donate, general people of the general public, but also grant makers specifically, you want to be able to have that sense of trust and that sense of relationship built up so that they know if they award you a grant, the money is going into good hands and the money is going to be used appropriately. The money is going to actually make a difference in your organization, that you're in a position to apply the money, in the way that it needs to be applied to make the most impact in the community that you serve. So those are just two, really high level reasons why being transparent is important. So now that we've spoken briefly about those two reasons why it's important, let's go into 4 ways that you can be more transparent in your nonprofit in 2021. So the first way that you can be more transparent in your nonprofit is by updating your Guidestar profile. So this first point is touching on the article that we shared earlier in the week that spoke about Guidestar. So Guidestar is an online platform that you can use. It's offered by Candid, which is a very well-known, very trusted nonprofit resource and information generator in the nonprofit industry. You know, if you are new to nonprofits, or maybe you've not really heard of Candid before, I definitely recommend you go check out the resources they have to provide, and that you use the Guidestar platform that they provide. I will leave a link in the description box to Guidestar information, how you can set up your account, how you can activate, your profile, and just information about Candid and how you can use their information. So your Guidestar profile is usually automatically created by Candid when you file your IRS 990 form. So even though the profile might already be out there on Guidestar, it may not necessarily be up to date. It might not really accurately display your mission statement. It might not really tell the story of your organization, and it may not link directly to your website. So one thing that you should definitely do is create your account on Candid and be sure to claim your Guidestar profile so that you can go in and update that profile and make sure that it's an accurate display of your organization, what you do. So if someone Googles you and they see you have Guidestar, but the information isn't accurate or up to date, that's a missed opportunity to inform people of what you do, especially if it's a grant maker. When you apply for a grant, the first thing that a grant maker could potentially do, or the person who is reviewing your grant application, is check your Guidestar profile. So if your information isn't there, then it could be a bad representation of your organization, or just a missed chance to present yourself or present your organization to a grant maker. So make sure that you double check that you visit Guidestar, you make an account, and assign your profile to an administrator or to someone trusted in your organization so that you can update that information and always have your profile, accurate. The second thing is your website. So this seems very obvious. Everybody that has a business or a nonprofit or anything that they're doing, they want the public to be able to find them online. You need a website. So even if you have a website, the idea is maximizing the information you put on your website. So not just, describing your programs and giving general descriptions of what your program does or who you focus on, but also using your website to provide metrics, to provide success stories, to say, in 2020 we successfully accomplished A, B, C, D, and just listing the things you've accomplished, any impacts you were able to create, using your website as a way to report out to the public and to grant makers what you've been able to achieve, and having data and numbers to support that. So being able to say, for example, we made a 40% increase in our impact in 2020. And then just being able to list maybe the number of people you've been able to serve, and just general ways to tell how you've been able to use the donations and the money that you've already gotten to make an impact, so that when grant makers view your website, they can see that you are already making the most of the money you've received, and that you're at a capacity to be able to capitalize on any additional grant funds you might get in this coming year. So never underestimate the power of being able to show the receipts of what you've accomplished on your website. So you can use graphics, you can use testimonials, you can use reports, you can use charts, anything creative that you can think about to show, what you've been able to accomplish. Use your website to do that. Okay. The third way that you can be more transparent in your organization is by making your financial information accessible to the public. Anytime, people are donating their money, especially if they're donating a lot of money or if you're requesting a lot of money from a grant maker, they want to know that you are, using your finances in a way that is ethical, that is trustworthy, and that you're putting the money to good use and it's actually making a difference in your organization and allowing you to actually increase your impact in the community that you serve. So this means posting your IRS 990 form on your website so that people can view it or people can download it. There are ways people can access your IRS form 990 even if it's not on your website, but it just is a lot better and looks a lot better and is a great step that you can take by making it accessible directly on your website. In addition to posting your IRS 501c3 tax exempt letter. So a lot of times when you apply for a grant, the grant maker is going to ask you anyway to upload this information, but it's just an extra step to take to solidify and say, hey, we have nothing to hide. We're doing everything, in good, with honesty and with a good heart. And here's access to the information. If you don't want to put it on your website, that's okay. You can make that choice, but still being willing and ready and prepared to provide that information upon request. If anyone was to ever approach you and ask you, hey, can I see your IRS Form 990? Being prepared to provide that. That's a really good way to be transparent. And if you aren't filing your IRS Form 990, that's something that you definitely need to be doing to keep yourself, in compliance with the IRS rules and regulations, and also just to manage your money well. The fourth way that you can be more transparent is being upfront and open about who sits on your board of directors. Your board of directors, they have a lot of say in what happens in your organization. They're the ones who are making important decisions, providing leadership to the organization. So you always want to be transparent about who sits on your board. So this means posting it on your website. Again, use your website to the max, maximize the space that you have on your website to put this information out there so that people can see who are your board of directors and being honest about who are they affiliated with, what other organizations do they work with, what role do they play in your nonprofit. So that way people can see who should be held accountable and who are the people behind the decisions, the important decisions in the leadership of your organization. So I hope this information was helpful. It's just a start of where you can begin for this year to begin thinking strategically about how to prepare your organization, how to tell your organization's story so that you can be more successful when you're applying for grants and when grant makers are researching you or, reviewing your information to verify that you are who you say you are and that your organization is making an impact in your community. All right, so that's it for today, and we'll see you in next week's video.